What's up, dude?
Okay. Well, it's good, man.
All right, we're back. That's much
Hey.
better. Much better. All right, so yeah, let's get back to what we were saying. I'll edit that out for everyone watching. We're using a shitty connection site and that didn't work. Um, so yeah, we got to 9/11. I'm just gonna jump right back into it. So the possibility that it was either an inside job or it was 19 guys from Saudi Arabia, both are equally fucking terrifying. It's either a cabal that is so corrupt, evil, and technologically capable that they can pull off that, or 19 guys with box cutters who barely spoke English could do that to $1 trillion defense net and seemingly get
Yeah.
through and cast the world or cast America into war. That's Yeah,
Yeah.
man. I've seen those videos of the plane and it's banking behind like the Woolworth Tower, I think. And yeah, its wing seemingly cuts through in the foreground, but it should be in the background by like 1,000 feet. And that obviously that's like a glitch in reality. And the other one, have you ever seen that? What? Did it break up again, man? You there?
My internet's being
You're fine, man. Dude, you're fine.
super.
Happens to the best of us, dude. Mine's lightning fast some days. It's a piece of shit others.
Yeah,
You get
exactly. I'm like, what's going on, dude?
there. Okay, you're back. Do you wanna? Do you wanna? Is Do you think your internet will be better another time, or do you want to keep going? I'm fine with keep going. I don't want you to keep getting cut out.
1 second. Let me do. There we go. I'll be fine. No, I just put it on my phone network
Okay.
just now.
All right. Awesome. So, have you ever seen that video of the plane when it goes through one of the towers and you see the nose come out entirely intact? But you need to see that, man, because that's weird. The front of the plane comes out almost like a cartoon. Like the oval shape comes out of the other side through a fucking steel building 150 feet wide. But if a plane gets hit with a bird, the entire front of it will implode. So it's like, how the fuck did that happen?
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a really good point.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
it's
take a hit real quick.
you're good.
Actually,
So
wait. I'm just gonna do this. Oh, what am I doing? I'm just gonna do this. This is so much easier. The fuck? Yeah. All right.
there we go.
Motherfuckers, I'm just doing this.
Okay.
I was prepared the whole time, and I'm over here like, how am I gonna, I don't know, use the fucking thing that you use when you fucking smoke a bowl, dude?
So yeah, so you're in agreement. You think Darth Cheney was behind it all?
I think it's a lot of people who are behind it.
Yeah. Who do you
I
think?
think it's the things of a lot of people.
Yeah.
But now,
Do you think it's? Do you give credence to the idea that it's been the same power group has been in charge for 1,000 years? They've taken different shapes. They get behind different governments, but it's the same continuous source. Or do you think it's power groups battling against each other over the centuries?
do you mean like the fucking 13 families?
Yeah, that's exactly what I fucking mean.
um, okay. When it comes to that, I really, from what I've done in research and what I know, because I don't necessarily know if I know this.
Yeah.
I'm just taking this off of what somebody else said.
Yeah.
So, based off of what somebody else said, those families have to adhere to a very strict code
Mm-hmm.
because who they follow and, for lack of a better term, worship,
Mm-hmm.
they have to basically tell us what they're going to do
That is a
before they,
that is a thing they have, right? They have to let you know.
but they don't have to let you know that they're letting you know, and they don't have to let you know when they're going to do that thing, but they still do with numerology. So
Yeah,
it's just like, sit here and you're like, holy shit. Like
it's
there's a whole thing with like The Simpsons with like the $9 thing,
yeah,
and it's like 9/11 with the
yeah,
building, and
yeah.
it's like, okay, there's a lot of clues,
Or
but I just feel like so many people miss this shit because they want to convince themselves that, oh, it's not this, it's not this. People are fucking crazy, but people aren't fucking crazy.
yeah, it's too many people. It's I think I think there are a lot of people who deep down feel like there's something going on, but it's almost like you don't want to. It's almost like you don't want to entertain it because it's too evil.
It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be. That's sad too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally believe you and feel with you on that one. Like that's, yeah, it. A lot of people I think just don't want to admit that, you know, it's kind of funny. It's almost like people want to believe that like the stories that we've been taught our whole life are just stories,
Yeah. It's
instead of thinking that maybe that shit might be a kernel of the truth.
maybe it was
Like,
yeah.
how did it become a story to begin with?
Yeah.
That's what I thought of. Like, how? Wait, you mean to tell me that every single story that might seem far fetched or outlandish is like there's no
There's
possibility of
like
them?
there's it's like the idea of like the great flood. It's like
Oh shit!
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the idea of the great
Sorry.
the
Like,
idea
let's get super brain this motherfucker. Keep going. I'm sorry.
no,
Rushing you.
it's like the idea. It's like you're fine. Dude, I interrupt everyone. It's like the idea of like the Great Flood. You know,
Yeah.
it's like what are like the oldest books? You got what? You got the Torah, the Bible, and the Quran. So like three oldest books from religions that are by no means friends. And what's like the one common thing they all have is like the
Well,
Great Flood, the Great, or even Gilgamesh, the oldest written story, has the
well, they
Great
all
Flood.
they all also talk about. They're all considered Abrahamic religions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is like they're actually kind of in a way like friends. That's the funny
Yeah,
thing. Is they'll
they're absolutely related. But what I
yeah,
mean is like it's not like a cabal of like it's like no, like they fucking hate each other, but it's weird that they all have the same.
they hate each other because they compete
That
with
yeah,
each
yeah,
other.
yeah.
That's
It
why.
but it's like they all have the same. It's like the oldest books from all over the world all have the oldest like origin, like a great flood, and
Yeah.
like it's like I don't think that's just a story. I think they're actually, and I don't think it needs to be some magical God smited. Is like you ever listen to like Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson on Joe Rogan? They talk about like an asteroid hitting the fucking North Pole, vapor or liquefying it instantly, and in one day a flood swept over the Earth. And there's all these fucking lines in the sediment that show this is exactly what happened, and it happened like right when all the stories talk about there being a great flood. So like there's the point is like maybe it's not just a story. So if you look at that, well then what else is not just a story? You know, like Santa. No, there's not Santa, but like there was a Saint Nick. There was a dude that walked around with a fucking big sack. Not that sounds bad.
Santa. Santa. I can't fucking move this. Keep bumping my fucking table.
You're fine.
Santa. Santa is actually a telling of eating psychedelic red mushrooms.
Fuck yeah, dude. Terrence McKenna.
That's actually I believe the real. It was a celebration of eating the red mushrooms.
Okay.
And the whole thing was Saint Nick would give you mushrooms to go on a trip, but if you were a bad motherfucker, he'd give you some coal instead. That
Fuck
was,
yeah.
dude, because the kids were. This is what I can't understand this about like our society now. Is like we're like, oh, we exclude kids from everything.
Yeah.
We do. We
It's a,
act like kids can't handle all this shit. And I'm not trying to like sit here and like, you know, say that kids should start like smoking but like kids definitely were able to handle
there
things.
wasn't always this barrier of like you can't come into the real world till you're
Yeah.
18. Like you used to
Like,
just you were in.
I'm not, trying to like steer, trying to root for, hey, go give your kids a fucking beer. But
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yo, don't be afraid. Like, let's try shit.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I'm not also saying let your kids do fucking lines of cocaine or anything
Yeah.
like that, but I'm saying within a reason. Because back in the day, fuck, man, they let kids fucking chump on mushrooms at Christmas if they were good.
Yeah.
If they were good. See, they knew that taking a trip was a privilege and was a good thing. But if you were an asshole, you got the fucking coal, and then you had fucking Krampus to deal with.
And Krampus was the evil motherfucker that would come and put kids in his bag and take them into the woods and like eat them, right?
Yeah, and he's a fucking friend of Saint Nick. Like they're like fucking bros. Like, hey man, what's up, Krampus? Hey, what's up, Saint Nick?
Fuck, good cop, like, bad cop.
Kids? Yeah. How many kids you give mushrooms to? It's like,
oh fuck.
What? One's fucking kids up. One's literally fucking kids up and eating them. Like, shit. Like, holy, one's getting all like tripping like, holy shit, I'm seeing things. And some of them wish they weren't seeing some things, like, teeth chomping their fucking face off.
Jesus, dude. Do you ever think, dude, I'm on, do you ever listen to Akira the Dawn?
My God, that's how.
The mushroom thing? Oh yeah, that's how, I think that's how you and I got to know each other.
Exactly.
I'm a fucking idiot. But
it's all good.
No.
Akira's a brilliant motherfucker. And
he is. He's
I'm fortunate enough to live in like a very short distance away from him. So it'd be definitely fucking cool one day to, meet him.
Dude, get Akira. Go tell Akira to fucking come on the podcast.
I tried to actually get him. I did a radio show and I was gonna be a host. I just didn't really. Long story short, I just was not fucking feeling the vibe of it.
Yeah.
So I was like, this doesn't feel right.
Not for me.
So I hopped on. Yeah, I just the energy just felt more take than give.
Yeah.
And I'm not feeling this. I just didn't feel like an actual like.
You can't do good work when you have that feel. You can't force.
Weird. Like I just noticed they kind of like, hey, do this, but like they weren't following me or doing,
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, you want me to be all about your shit?
Yeah.
But you weren't about my shit at all?
Yeah. Doesn't work like that.
Peace. I ain't playing that shit. I'm not a sucker. I'm saying like I was raised different.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Not made. I don't do that shit. Fucked up. I had to sign some paperwork, but whatever.
Yeah.
I would have got my toes wet first before they, but whatever.
Yeah.
It's all good. It is what it is. You learn shit in this fucking business and just doing what it is. And I don't even know why I'm saying it's business. I'm like, what business am I fucking in? I'm just me, you know what I'm saying? I'm just flowing, bro. That's like shit. I just fucking love giving kernels of wisdom and little dropping gems every now and again on fucking Snapchat. That's what I like to do. I just like to help people.
Yeah.
That's really my thing. It's like I learn, and what I learn, I like to fucking reciprocate and give back to people with, So shoot, that's what I'm doing.
Fuck yeah.
That's my flow,
Fuck yeah, man.
And not everyone likes my fucking vibe, but that's cool. That just tells me that my speed's a little bit faster than yours.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I know.
Cruising on the highway doing 40, it's accepted. So some people like doing that, and some people are fucking terrified of doing 130 on the freeway. But see, I think 130 is like a fucking Sunday drive.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. Dude, that's how
I'm like, let's go. I like high speeds. So I'm just That's how I am. You
No,
know,
man, dude, it's
that's my
I think that's why we get along is because that's how I am. I'm like, dude, put a fucking cinder block on the gas. Like, if we're going, let's go. If we're not, let's not.
oh
And
exactly. Like let's
it's
go. Like
it's
we're going. Let's go.
yeah,
Like I'm
it's
trying to like shit. If I had some wings on this motherfucker, we'd be flying. Oh
yeah,
fuck, there it is.
yeah. No, I feel you, and it's taken me a long time to realize that just because other people don't feel it, that that doesn't mean there's something wrong with me, and it also doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. I used to think that
Yeah,
I don't vibe with anyone,
not
so
there.
I must be fucking up. And then I thought other people are assholes, and it's finally dawned on me like, wait, we're just going different. I'm a circle, they're a square. It's fine, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, dude. You know the thing is like I don't know what your what's your astrological sign?
I don't know. I don't know. Explain it to me. I'm August 7th, 1990. What is that?
Leo.
Okay, so explain that. I
Okay.
actually tried to have someone to
So
explain
you're
it
a
to me.
Leo. You're a Leo. No, it gets deeper than that. You have to go look at your natal charts. That's some real. Like you want to look at something that's gonna fucking kind of freak you out a little bit. Go look at a natal chart, dude. That shit. My God, that dude. Woof. It's so detailed of like your personality and like what you're like. It kind of scares you. Like
Really?
there's different things like trines and all this. Oh my God, like houses and planets and just bro, you start looking at this shit, it's gonna fucking blow your mind because like you read it, it's like you're just reading like a fucking like it's
Blueprint.
like you just left like a fucking FBI office with like a paragraph or something. You're like, who's fucking watching me? Like
Who's
it's just weird, but it's all ordered by like planetary things. It's based off of like where the planets were
mm-hmm.
when you were born and like where you were born and like dude, so if you know things like the time you were born, where you were born, date, the birth date, obviously, and you pretty much get it. It's pretty simple. But if you don't know I mean, I really suggest you figure out what the fuck, like when you were born. Like I memorized when I was born, so it's a good thing because when you misplace your fucking birth certificate, it's kind of a good thing I memorized, right? No, so basically, it's a fucking interesting fucking thing. So you're a Leo straight up, and by you saying 1990,
1990.
that tells me you're also in the Chinese zodiac. You are a horse.
Okay.
So you got to be careful this year coming up.
Okay.
Uh,
2020 or
as of
2021?
Saturday. So on the 25th, on Saturday, is Chinese New Year.
Okay.
So that's going to be the year of the white metal rat, I believe. Yeah. So rats are enemies of horses and vice versa.
Okay.
So when it's a horse tier, it's great for you, but it's bad for a rat.
Okay.
Saying?
Yeah.
So you should do your best to kind of like just lay low this year.
Walk the line. Just don't get
Really,
crazy.
and when I say that, I mean like don't do anything major.
Okay.
Don't try and start a business. Don't try and start a fucking family. Don't try and don't get married. Don't try and have a kid. You gotta just sleep on the shit. You gotta lay super low for the year because if you try and create something in that year, it's going to be then wrapped up in your enemy's energy.
Okay.
Okay. Will affect you and your chances of success.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
I've learned that this is hyper important shit. Like me, I'm a snake. I was born in 1989. I'm an earth snake. That's what I am.
Okay.
Earth snakes, or snakes in general, enemies with pigs.
Okay.
2018, year of the pig. That's what we're still in until Saturday. And
then you're good.
And then I'm fucking fangs out, motherfucker. Holy shit! Let me tell you, bro. I'm like, how annoying it is. Okay, because I'm also Hold up. What's your full birthday? Let me just break this down real quick. Hold on, no, it's fine. This is my personality. So
no, dude, no, fucking, I love this, man.
What's your birthday though? Like your full birthday? You said August 7th, 1990. You said, right?
Yes.
Okay, so let me do all this math in my head real quick. So I'm gonna take them from no. So 8 and 8 is 16. Okay, so 16, 1 plus 6, 7. And then 1990, you said, so 2 9s, 18, 9. it was set. What did I have? Let me do this my fucking thing. I'm gonna get lost.
August 7th,
Okay.
1990. 871990.
Hold on. It's just easier if I do the fast.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. I can't fucking do math, man.
I'm totally fucking. I'm a little stoned.
No.
And,
Hey, I love it. I love it.
like, fuck, hold on. I kind of lost my head. Let me just open up my fucking calculator real fast. Calculator. All right. You said August 7th, so 8.
August 7th, 1990.
7 plus 1. That's 9. 7. Life path 7. Because it's 34. So your life path 7.
Okay.
So basically, I'm not sure specifically what that is, but you go look that up. Bro, it's gonna change your life, because you're gonna start looking at that shit and go, oh fuck, and it's gonna teach you a lot about yourself and what you're like.
Okay.
For instance, I looked up my roommate. Okay, my roommate does like kind of construction sort of stuff, and I looked up his numerology life path, and it turns out he's life path number 4,
Okay.
which turns out to be like the builders, the artisans,
All right.
the craftsmen,
Okay.
those types.
Okay.
Like, whoa.
What the
And
fuck?
so he's and like, but it's not even just like, oh, it's just like a job. Like, no, like homeboy is like part of like a whole like alliance, like a guild, like a whole thing of like people who do that shit. Like he's like worked in that industry. Like he's like
Okay.
he's really knowledgeable about it. So I'm sitting here going like, okay,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
okay. Like that's how that all works. Me, I'm life path 8,
Okay.
which is about power, money, karma.
Okay.
When I say power, I don't mean the kind of aggressive, like angry kind of fucking strength that people think. Like I'm a
Like
fucking ass.
independence, like empowerment.
More like divine power.
Okay. Okay.
That's interesting, because that's what I speak about a lot.
It is. That's your MO. Your MO is
That's my thing. I just and people think it's kind of like, I don't know if people. I know some people probably don't know how to handle that, and maybe some people think that like I'm one of these weird like false god type,
yeah.
Benny in 2.0 motherfucker. Like,
yeah.
But like no, like I for real just I know what I am, and that's a Gnostic. Not agnostic. I'm Gnostic, which is just basically like the information just fucking. It just comes.
What is I don't know. I'm retarded. I didn't know what Gnostic was.
Gnostic is
like Alex Jones said, like he's in the zeitgeist. He sees it all. Did you ever hear him say that on Joe Rogan? He's like, how do you know it? He's like, I'm in the.
You don't have you don't have difficulty seeing things. Like,
okay.
You kind of see it before other people see it.
Okay.
And it's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Because like if someone else doesn't see it, they might give you shit for it for a little while. You have to deal with all that shit.
And then
until the time comes where they eat a big piece of humble pie and say sorry and realize that what you said was totally true, and then you kind of fucking have a moment.
Yeah.
You fuck yourself real quick, and then your ego goes fucking up here.
Yeah.
You have to learn a balance. I will say that. Yeah, that's the one thing
you gotta.
And even for me, I've got to learn, for being a life path 8. I gotta learn that, and I've had to learn that, just how to balance my fucking ego.
Bring yourself down. Yeah, it's. Hey,
yeah,
man, dude,
and I've ironically read something today, not to step on your words here, my friend, but
no.
I was reading something about how that can actually mess with you personally and professionally, and it actually has, because previous people that I've done work with, I let my anger get ahead, which is essentially that's like probably the best representation of like ego for me is anger.
Okay.
Because if I feel like I can get away with it, like, or whatever, or I'm entitled and something in that moment, that's usually when that anger can fly at times. But like, oh shit, and shit. But See, that's karma right there. See how that works?
Yeah,
Talk about the anger and
yeah.
bam. So, but it works. But no, so like I've definitely like lost clients that I've like had to work with and shit that way by being angry
Mhm.
and not being like just calm, cool, collected. So it's like it's taken time to kind of really, learn how to harness the anger for something more useful
Okay.
than just flare up,
Okay. And how would you say you harness that
creativity.
creativity? Okay.
Definitely
Okay.
creativity, but like I like writing a lot, so you know I put a lot of things down in pen or just text it out on my memo pad on my phone or something like that.
Mhm.
That's a really big one for me is just really writing it out, or I've been really learning more to just talk it out. So, and that's the thing about because when you're like a Sag, I'm Sagittarius. Well, I'm kind of a cusp, but I'm more so. I just say I'm more so Sag because I'm like literally the tail end of the fucking cusp. So it's like got a couple little Scorpio tendencies things, but mainly
Yeah.
Sag shit.
Yeah.
So Sages are super unfiltered.
Okay.
So it's like I know that when I get that level of anger or whatever the fuck, I can get kind of mouthy. So it's like I've been learning to kind of just keep that shit off because I've been learning that you fucking hurt people's feelings
Yeah,
really
it's
bad and say some shit that you can't,
can't bring
and
back.
you learn over time.
You can't
Yeah.
bring back. You
So
can't unring a bell.
exactly. You can't
It's
unring a motherfucking bell.
yeah,
That's
man.
it right there.
Yeah, dude. And it
That's kind of the best way to summarize what I've been like learning. It's
yeah.
like, yo. So and when you said earlier, how do you keep it positive? That's why right there.
Okay.
Because like when I'm feeling something, sometimes, I'll just be 100%. I'm not trying to fucking protect an image here. I fucking fly off the goddamn handle. I
Yeah.
lose my. I
Yeah.
fucking go. Sometimes I
Yeah.
turn into a fucking Uzaru mode my fucking self, and I'm just like, and you don't
Dude,
want to fucking see me. Like, if you were to see me when I'm mad versus what you see on fucking like Snapchat, you'd be like, this isn't the same guy.
okay.
And but it is.
Yeah.
You just don't understand what's going on.
Okay.
You just don't understand what also people. It's a thing, and I'm not trying to sound like the Joker here, but like people don't know what other people have fucking gone through.
No one does, dude, and that's
So
taken me
that's
29 and a half years to finally begin to understand. Even
yeah,
I've
like
just opened the book and go, okay,
yeah,
okay,
like you don't know what people have gone through.
no,
Like with no fucking comprehension. If somebody like literally is gone through hell, and
yeah,
that's why they kind of snap at people or whatever
yeah,
the fuck.
yeah,
They
they're,
just had it
yeah, they're,
done, like mistreating them or whatever. Yo, and people need maybe be conscious of that instead of being so fucking selfish.
yeah,
Like something that I said recently was on my Snapchat was I feel like a lot of people are fucking narcissistic as fuck,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and they don't even realize it. They're all
yeah,
narcissists in denial.
yeah,
There's so many people who realize or don't realize, sorry, they don't realize that they're a fucking narcissist or
mm-hmm,
they have narcissistic tendencies.
mm-hmm,
And it's like, I can't sit here trying to act like we're all fucking angels. And I
yeah,
think that's really the hardest thing with society these days is everybody's trying to fucking act like they're a fucking angel.
and
No.
and everyone else is fucking up. Not me, but everyone else is.
Yeah. And no, you need to come to grips with like your fucking shadow,
Yeah,
because if you don't come to grips with your shadow,
yeah,
yo,
it's
you're not gonna be in for a good fucking ride. I'm just
no,
saying
yeah,
because you're not just the fucking good qualities of yourself. Like one thing that Jordan Peterson says that I really fucking love in one of his speeches is he talks about how he was talking about Jung and he was talking about the shadow and he was talking about how a lot of us like to relate with the hero of World War II who was breaking into, the concentration camps and freeing all the people
mm-hmm,
from cells. But the reality is we probably have more in common with the fucking jailers
Probably.
keep themselves. And it's
Probably.
like you can't relate with that. If you can't come to grips with that fact that you have those sort of monstrous qualities somewhere tucked down within you, that's where that's why I'm like, yo, no, people are fucking delusional, narcissistic, motherfucking people
No,
in denial. Like it's just no, like you can't do that. You can't just no.
yeah,
You got to realize that there's darkness within you, because that's the only really way I feel to learn how to control it, learn to be okay with it.
yeah.
I mean, yo, the other thing too, I gotta say, I'm like, I don't strive for happiness. That's another thing I gotta say. I don't fucking strive for that shit. I don't chase it. I
Okay.
don't look for it. I just end it.
Okay. Just
I've
don't.
learned that if you try and strive for it, it then kind of becomes something that I call positive stress.
Okay. It's
Think about it.
it's like if it's something for your strive, if it's something you're striving for, you're defining it as something you don't have.
But think about that though. Like really stop and like ponder that for half a second.
Positive
Like
stress.
like stress is something that you do not want to do, that you do not want to experience, but you are, okay? And you're like uncomfortable while you're doing it. Think about it. Think about what fucking happiness is. To try and be happy, you literally go through stressful shit.
Yeah. 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 I'll be happy
And
when
then
I
at the
get this.
very end of it all, you get these moments where you're happy, and then it all goes away, and then all you can think about is those moments where you were happy. And then
Yeah.
you do the same fucking cycle again,
Until you
trying
die.
to do all the hard shit to get those feelings again.
Yeah.
And then you go, ah, fuck, it passed. Fuck.
Yeah. It's like.
And people talk about living paycheck to paycheck. No, it's like people who live vacation to vacation.
Yeah.
Those people are fucking striving for happiness.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Only live for the weekend where you can get hammered. Like, because Monday through Friday sucks. It's.
Yeah, live in the moment. That's my thing. I'm happy now.
Yeah.
Like, the fuck. And it's like, it's not even just happy. It's more just like, I don't even really like that word, because I feel like it's just like word. It's just like it's literally just like a.
It sounds like a high, like a
it's
cheap
like a pornographic word. It's
yeah,
like I'm trying to get happy. Yeah, I'm trying to get high. I'm trying to get happy. It's the same
getting happy. We're getting happy.
Yeah, you fucking drink a bunch of fucking things for cheaper and more affordable prices.
Yeah.
You think about it. Word itself, no. So I'm really more like zealous.
Okay.
I'm excited about life. I'm joyful about life.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I don't like to use the word alive, because things that are are
the opposite.
Not exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's why I'm like, when people said they're awake, I'm like, what? No, that doesn't make sense.
Fuck.
See. So when you're asleep, what the fuck? That doesn't make sense. You're sleeping.
Dude, you're
not asleep.
You're starting to tear my brain in half.
Like, think about it. When you're absent of sleep, you're asleep.
You're sleeping.
You're sleeping when you're in the act of sleeping. You're not asleep. It doesn't make sense.
You're
absent of sleep. That's what I believe the A stands for.
Okay. So you're waking. You're not awake.
Yes.
Okay.
Awake is like another word for dead.
So alive. No, you're living.
That's the word awake. What do you do before a funeral?
Fuck. You go to a wake. I was not ready. I was not ready for this.
Witchcraft, bro. That's what people. I was even talking with my mother, my Christian mother, about this shit, and she agrees with me 100%. Because we were talking about how Latin and Aramaic were the two most powerful languages to summon things, and it's true.
fuck, dude?
Besides the African languages, which I believe African languages come out of the Asian languages.
Okay.
Because I actually personally think that everything originated from Asia,
Not
not
Africa.
Africa.
Not okay. Why is
Because
that?
you can't reverse skin color. That doesn't make sense. So if we all originated from fucking Africa, why are we all not black? I don't think we originated from Africa. I think we're all Asian, which is why white people are called Caucasian. The last fucking word in that word is Asian.
Yeah, it's the aren't the
Russia's right next door to Asia.
yeah, and the what is it, the Caucasus Mountains? That's literally what Caucasian.
Bingo! So I'm like sitting here like, hello? So why didn't some Asians travel down to Africa and get super fucking tan? Think about how the
Yeah.
sun would react to their hair. Asians have super coarse hair. So therefore, if they got over time, the sun kept hitting, it's going to fry.
Yeah.
Not saying like a disrespectful thing that like African Americans
No,
have or African people have
not-
fried hair,
it's not this,
but I'm just saying it changed everything.
okay. It's
If you look at the way they even kind of look,
yeah,
similar.
yeah,
There's similarities. I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm just looking for origins.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody.
no, dude. There's nothing disrespectful thinking about human origins. It's whoever thinks that's disrespectful is an idiot. It's
It's crazy to me.
so.
But
What
I mean,
about
so you look at Latin. Okay, you look at Latin, and the two main languages that came from that were English and German.
okay?
They're the closest things to each other
Mm-hmm.
for Latin. They kind of took different routes, but that's basically it.
Okay.
You look at Aramaic, Arabic, Spanish, and they're fucking cousins. They're so close. It's like kind of weird.
Okay.
Okay. I believe it's the words pantaloons. And the word pantaloons, I believe, is Spanish, and bantaloons is Arabic.
Okay.
It's the same fucking.
It's-
It means the same thing.
Yeah. It's
Pants.
What do you think
So I'm
about?
like, wow.
What do you think about the? Yeah, I was gonna say for like pigmentation, melanin. It's that's obviously why we're different colors. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean it would take thousands of years to run a test, but I guess what you would do is take someone from Africa and put them in somewhere like northern Canada or Norway or fucking Siberia and see if over thousands of years their skin becomes lighter.
I
But
don't think it would.
yeah, so that's not the point I was going to bring up. What do you think about like the Eurasian the land bridge between Alaska and Russia that we know was there and was covered up during the last or after the last ice age when sea levels rose? Do you think that man came over from Asia into Alaska and down into North America as an explanation as opposed to all the white guys coming over with Christopher Columbus?
Yes, that actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah, man. I feel like. What do you think's going on in Antarctica? Do you think there's some shit going on?
I do. Sorry for this weird little thing. I'm trying to.
Dude, I don't care.
That's all. It's not sad.
I don't
I'm
care.
trying to hold my phone next. I gotta charge it, but it's all good.
Yeah.
I'll hold the thing.
All right.
Basically, Antarctica, dude. I am a believer that this is fucking flat.
I think it's all flat.
I don't believe that it's like a disc, though.
Okay.
I believe it's more like a cookie.
Isn't that a disc?
Not in my head.
Okay. Okay, explain
A
it.
disc
I'll entertain
flat.
it. I'll entertain it.
Like I think a disc is like when people say. I think of like a fucking CD-ROM when people say a disc, bro.
Okay.
Just because the thing is like look at a discus. I mean, those even are pretty fucking flat.
Yeah.
And a disc, I think it's fucking pretty flat. Cookies, they're disc-like.
Like a big disc-like,
It's
chunky,
it's
chunky,
like a
thick.
disc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I think it is for this.
Okay.
They never said with the hollow Earth theory and the whole thing, like they never said how big the sun is down there.
Okay. I'll entertain this.
So it could be, you could see it. It's possible to be seen. If you ask me, at least. I'm gonna clear some shit 1 second.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm trying to make sure that this thing doesn't fucking lose you.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine, dude. It's.
There we go. Okay. It is a hot ass, warm ass phone. What? Oh, I know what I'm gonna do. 1 second.
No, you're fine, dude. Dude, do you figure it out?
I always figure it out. There we go. This is me figuring it out. Okay.
Okay.
Let's figure it out. That oh, hold on. Now I got it. Put this here. I'll just use.
I like your tapestry.
Thank you.
Behind you.
Has to be fitting, man.
Yeah.
Me and my foxes.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Fuck's sake. I play as a fox on Fortnite. Like.
Oh yeah. I like it.
The whole thing is a package. Yeah.
I like it.
Fucking foxes. But actually, I really love the foxes because of something that Tupac actually also had a affinity with, which is when he was in jail, he read the book by Niccolo Machiavelli, which is called The Prince.
Yeah.
And there's a section specifically where they talk about how to be successful, every prince must embody both the lion and the fox. Because the fox can see the snares and the traps of the wolves, but is not strong enough to actually fight the wolves.
Okay.
But the lion, however, is strong enough to fight the wolves, but is not cunning and wise enough to see the traps.
Okay.
So you have to embody both.
I like that.
That's why I actually even have a lion ring.
Oh, nice. What's your other one? What's on the other hand?
The feather.
Yeah, I like that one. Yeah, I've seen that on your post before. I like that one. So
Yeah.
let's get. I'm intrigued. Let's get back to the big cookie Earth.
Yeah, basically, I just kind of believe that's kind of how you could work it all together. You know, and if you think of terrain, that makes perfect sense to me. That like it's kind of built like a fucking cookie, and like the mountains are basically like chocolate chips. That's how I kind of see it.
I'll take
like,
it.
It just makes perfect sense. Like, and like, what if like the oceans are kind of like fudge in the center?
Okay, I'll take it.
Why not?
I like to entertain all shit. I don't shit on any one thing.
I don't think that it's just one thing anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, like there's things that like I can't even fucking explain. Like James Cameron going down to the bottom of the Marianas Trench and finding a door.
Found a door?
Like that one.
What?
Just
No, I see it. I'm
fucking normal ass door with a knob and everything, and he opens it up with his fucking submarine, and he said that what he saw was terrifying and he can't even talk about it.
I've never heard this. I will entertain it.
It's crazy shit. Yeah, no, seriously, look it up.
No, I will. Dude, I love this shit.
I found this shit this information via fucking Instagram,
Yeah.
but I don't know why the person would even put that shit in there if it wasn't somewhat true. Like, why would you randomly put that? You know?
Yeah.
What, you just want to stir up some shit? Like,
you can't rule that out. Some people do just like to. Let's see what happens. I don't
think that many people though are desperate enough to start
to put time into it.
That much shit in James Cameron of all people's life, like.
Yeah.
I don't think you're looking for that kind of shit. You know what I'm saying?
I feel you.
But, you know, with Antarctica, man, I definitely think that it's kind of like a layer to keep us from seeing the fucking other layers. Because I don't think it's like, and when I said it's a cookie, that's kind of like It's kind of not it though. Let's say it's like a cookie cake.
Okay.
Like it's like tiered.
Okay.
That's the thing. Like, we're on the top, and when you look at the flat Earth maps, they're shown from above.
Mm-hmm.
The trippy thing though is the top section. Okay, that we are seeing as when you look at that flat map, and if you take a sphere, it's floating, and you take that flat map and you put it over the sphere, it literally gives you the globe that we have now.
Okay.
So it's like, that's some fucking interesting shit.
Yeah.
That I've seen it done.
Yeah.
So the fact that it's literally the flat Earth map, and it's not like they try and superimpose the shit to fit over. No, they leave the shit to be stationary. The way that they, it's a digital fucking frame, so the angle is perfect to show you exactly how it's perfectly just. I believe the word is concave.
Yeah.
For the shit, it's just like a glove, bro. Yeah. It's like it's kind of fucked up. No, it's not concave. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's fucking perfect. It was like, how did they do that?
So what about what's the sun? I'm just picking your mind. What's the?
I don't believe in time. Time is a man-made concept, because it is. And believe me,
well, yeah,
I definitely felt today.
No, yeah, no.
Because work, I helped my buddy last night. I didn't get back till I didn't go to bed till 1, and then I got up at like 7:30. So I only slept for a very short amount of time. And I kind of like had a moment today where I thought it was like I thought it was a different day, and I thought Friday was going to be the 25th. And everything kind of like stirred in my head, and I was like, whoa. So I kind of realized that, oh shit, like this time shit really is not real. It's kind of hard to explain what I felt.
No, I get you. It's
sleeping for a very small period of time, and then like it makes you kind of like go.
No, it'll put you in a different mindset, man. In college, I graduated the university.
Seeing things a little different. Yeah, it's like, what the fuck, and you start realizing like, time isn't actually like this like real thing. Like, you start to realize like it's just not. It's just like, I feel like it's just the sun's going around like a spotlight, and the moon follows, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I've seen it, and the planets even aren't like in orbit. That's the whole thing. They're really just above us, and they're ingrained in the firmament. Bible talks about the firmament. That when you're talking about the Great Flood, that's something that I was going to mention.
Mm-hmm.
Believe that there's a doorway to heaven and windows of heaven that are in the firmament. I believe they were opened up, and that's what caused the Great Flood. That's truly what I believe happened.
Yeah.
Now, it's fucked up because like sometimes you hear Hillary Clinton talk about cracking the glass ceiling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
She's totally mentioned cracking the glass ceiling. That phrase has been used a handful of times by people who are kind of considered not so fantastic. And it's like, okay, wow, that's a very interesting phrase to be throwing around as many times as you're throwing it around.
Isn't glass, isn't that normally referred to like job advancement for women? Glass ceiling?
Yeah, but it's pretty ironic that the fucking firmament is the glass ceiling too.
Yeah. No, it's, yeah, I mean, it's, no, I'll bite.
And there was a Simpsons episode where somebody hit a home run and it literally cracked the firmament, and it all this water came flooding in, and I was like, holy shit.
Have you seen The Truman Show?
Yeah. I know a lot about that shit.
The Truman Show that'll throw you for a trip the first time you watch it, because it makes you just think like,
it's trying to tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a world outside of this world. That's what he's fucking saying. And I'm just sitting here like, you fucking guys, because the people you think who are God, the people you think are all powerful, are not all powerful. That's what that movie's trying to tell you.
Oh yeah, no, I
Like,
mean you could take that message in any way you want. You can be. They could just.
well, I mean, I'm gonna be straight up. Like, okay, you can think how you want to think about it.
Mhm.
Okay, that's true. That's an opinion.
Yeah.
But then it's actually the intent.
Okay. The
That's the fact.
okay. The intent
So it's
behind the
like, sure,
production of it.
you can have opinion and interpretation of it, but there is a factual way of how the director intended,
Intended it
how
to come across.
intent, which I believe is it's Tom Shadyac, if I'm not mistaken. But I might be mistaken. But Tom Shadyac worked so many times with fucking Jim Carrey. I'm really not surprised if it was him. And he always tried to fucking drop something like without telling you he was dropping something. He's one of those.
Like a Stanley Kubrick type
What's up?
guy.
You know what? I don't like giving misinformation since I know you're gonna be posting this shit. I don't want to fucking give misinformation.
No, dude. Hey, man. This is anyone that comes. It's what I want this podcast to be is just people talking like you talk in everyday life. In everyday life, we don't sit there fact checking each other. So I'm not
I
gonna.
do.
Okay. Well, then yeah, it can be that though. If that's what your everyday life is, then do that. That's so. No, it's. I mean,
I'm correct, bro. I fucking can't stand people who don't. See, I'm so happy I did because I would have been incorrect. It was Peter Weir. Peter Weir was the fucking director. See, it's a good thing I checked because
it is.
Yeah.
What do you think about Jim Carrey doing that Terrence McKenna role? He's doing apparently he's I don't know if maybe they already shot it, but he's preparing for a role to be Terrence McKenna.
I think that's the role he's born to play because he fucking looks like him.
Yeah, yeah, and he's.
And I think especially now with what he is going through, that is something that definitely needs to happen.
Well, he's apparently he's preparing for it by really just doing psychedelics, like not just preparing for the role, he's going all in.
Carrey's a method actor, so I mean, if you saw what he did to play Andy Kaufman,
Really?
that is there's a documentary about it.
Really?
Yes, on Netflix. I believe it's called Me and Andy or something like that. Bro, it's so good. You gotta watch it. It's actually I've seen it twice, but it's something you can like watch a handful of times. It really is like
Fuck yeah.
because it's so fucking interesting. Like you watch this damn thing and you just really see kind of a little more in the mind of how actors really can get down and like what they do and like it's kind of insane.
Dude, acting's
Just
fucking it's psychedelic once you think about it.
well, I mean, I'm somewhat of an actor, so I'll say
Okay.
that. Like,
Okay.
real deep interest in it. Did it in high school. I'll be the way that I put it. My buddy, everyone, pretty much anybody who tells me like, it's a lot of people tell me you gotta be an actor.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
personally, it's kind of perfect for it and shit. But I tell them, man, I would definitely be pursuing that shit if that industry wasn't so fucking corrupt and if there wasn't so many like fucked up red couch kind of encounters.
Yeah.
So
some evil shit.
And also I can't be down with something that I consciously know is like literally fucking a part of human trafficking and forcing like and essentially just raping motherfuckers like left and right. So it's like I can't be okay with that.
Yeah.
I can't sit and just be 100% chill with that shit. I think that's extremely fucked up. I think there's, definitely like the day is coming is all I'm just going to say,
Mhm.
where that industry, I think, is either going to have to really get rid of everybody who, is associated with that shit, or I believe that whole industry is going to go digital.
What do you mean?
It's starting
like simulated?
to actually.
Like what?
Well, people are starting to essentially create CGI versions of, I think, give it a couple more years and it's there.
Yeah.
Where you can write your own movies and scripts for whoever the fuck you want to put in that movie.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Just
computer will fucking. It's happening.
Yeah.
It's already like in the fucking works. I
Yeah.
got a buddy who posts about this shit on Facebook all the time, and I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
It's like
It's
so, and like I said, I aspiring actor over here, love to fucking be in some films, and it's like specifically like gangster films. I feel like are the ones that fuck. I mean, I'm always so damn positive and shit. I want to show people some other sides.
yeah.
But that. But I just feel like also that's such an interesting. There's so many interesting people who were gangsters, and like they were like modern day Robin Hoods. They were just way more violent.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Just yeah.
But the thing that I respect so much about them, and people might think I'm weird for it, is even though they were so fucking violent, and even though that they were so fucking aggressive, they still lived by a code of honor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they were basically the last ones who did.
Yeah, kind of like some John Wick stuff.
Like they didn't fucking kill women, and they didn't kill kids.
It's a lot more than a lot of people could say today. Than the
And that was one thing. You also didn't sleep with anybody, like anyone's wife or girlfriend. Like you didn't do that shit because that was disrespectful. You didn't fucking do that. Now we got kids talking about that shit in songs and all this kind of shit. I'm like,
yeah, that always rubs me the wrong way. When it's like fuck
got
your
it,
wife.
man, around screaming that shit back in the day.
Yeah.
Outright. You
Yeah.
could just
Boom.
They wouldn't even stop you. They wouldn't even like try and stop you and talk to you. They would just shoot your ass because like no, you're like a fucking rabid dog. Fuck this.
If it was 1850 and you were like fucked your wife, yeah, you'd have some Wild West motherfucker.
I think in 1850, if you were to say that shit, you wouldn't get shot because that's too easy.
Yeah, they'd fucking light you on fire.
They would
fucking tear you apart with a train going different directions.
Probably stick dogs on you.
Probably.
Honestly.
Probably do something
That's probably the most likely thing that I could say that would happen in 1850 is they would stick dogs on you, and yeah, that or they would torture the living shit out of you because they didn't play around in the 1800s.
No,
you did not see shit like that.
No,
but I gotta, the similarities that I see with the 1800s is most people carried a pistol.
Hey man, armed society is a kind society,
and that was just proven on Monday.
Yeah. You know what I always point to is fucking
like
why I point to
insane. You look at Antifa fucking rallies and it's chaos.
Bike locks.
You look at a pro-gun rally, multiple people of multiple skin colors walking around with their guns, breathing in the motherfucking air, and not a single shot is fired.
Well,
and the damn things were loaded with bullets?
Yeah. Yeah,
you can't tell me that guns people.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
I look
crazy ass motherfuckers. Or I don't know. People who have been fed a shit ton of psychotropic fucking pills or other sort of medications.
Mm-hmm.
Those motherfuckers might be doing some shit, because that's ironically the one thing that's kind of a key pattern that people are finding in these shooters is they're all under the influence of psychotropic drugs. I wonder where the fuck they're getting them.
Yeah, SSRIs. Yes,
well, that's so interesting.
Yes, like the serotonin reuptake inhibitors. It's
It is interesting. What I find even more interesting, I'll say, is okay. So you got the Orlando shooters who shoot up that whole gay club.
Mm-hmm.
That one was actually successful because the reason I'm saying that is because there was planned 2 of them. There was supposed to be one in Orlando at that gay club,
Pulse
and then there was supposed to be one here in LA at the Pride rally, at the parade.
Really?
They were supposed to. Yeah, that was what happened. But somebody saw them like kind of acting weird, and they saw the fucking guns flag, but the fucking they were getting ready, and somebody flagged some cops on real quick, and the cops ran over there and stopped those motherfuckers. And then literally they told the law enforcement, like the LAPD or the whatever, whoever the fuck it was, but they told them that they were literally government agents and they were like they were carrying out a mission and shit like that, and they still got arrested.
Some
They said
falsified
fuck
shit.
that.
Yeah.
They arrested them and they fuck that. Interesting. So they're saying that, and then the people who fucking did the whole Orlando thing were literally positive for SRIs. So I'm sitting here like, that's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, I wonder who gave you the fucking SRIs.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you got one dude in LA saying who their employer is, but it's just, I wish people, and that's the thing, it's so frustrating.
Some MK Ultra shit.
Yeah, I wish people just pieced it together that quick, and it's like, you can't,
I think
you can't tell me that there isn't a pattern here that isn't, making it, it's like, you're not going to see a paper trail, so look for what the common denominator is.
Yeah, it's like we said earlier, there might be a lot more people who do see it. There's just, you almost don't want to even entertain it because that makes it real. I'm not saying that's a good mindset. I'm just saying, explaining it for, why it seems like a lot of people don't look at it.
It just sounds like denial.
Well, it's what it is. That's absolutely what it is. It's I'm not excusing it. I'm explaining it.
Yeah,
I think that's
we can't have everybody in denial like that. Just because it's comfortable to believe whatever like that. You can't just be like totally okay to think, because I don't want to believe it, I don't have to. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And the only reason, people really need to ask themselves why they don't want to believe it. And it's not because you don't believe it, really. And that's really that's the thing I really wish people would understand. And this isn't to be like I'm a know-it-all and I fucking figured everyone out. But the fucking pattern that I notice a lot of time people don't really like, those uncomfortable truths that people are so in denial about accepting, is because they're fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason why people are just like, fuck this, because they just don't want to be uncomfortable. And it's like, how selfish.
Yeah.
So we don't gotta stagnate as a fucking society and a people because a good majority of you motherfuckers are just too afraid of being mildly uncomfortable.
Yeah.
For maybe a year.
Yeah. Yeah. It's. Yeah.
Wow. It just, that's why I get back that whole selfish, narcissistic kind of, what the fuck? How are you gonna point the finger at anybody?
Yeah.
And that's really what's going on. That entitlement just fucking pisses me off. It's like, dude, what happened to America? We used to be and people are gonna disagree, but I feel like we were somewhat respectful of the country back in a different time.
Yeah. It's
now we're trying to restore that shit, but
maybe growing pains are necessary though. Maybe you can't have something worth it so easily. Maybe you get a great society not by just let's be a great society, but rather you go through the gauntlet, you go through the ring of fire. That's where you get the. I'm not saying it's good.
No, it is actually good. It's a good thing if it's the only way.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, I'm saying I should say.
It's a good thing if it is beneficial. I mean, if you stop to think about how the process of gold, I mean, that whole process is just straight up. You gotta basically heat it up and let all the bullshit come to the top.
Mm-hmm.
Wipe it away.
Yeah. Or making a sword, you gotta fucking break it and then put it back together. Fucking break it again, or. Yeah, broken steel beams. The weld is always stronger than the original structure.
Yeah. People need to not be afraid of breaking, because I think if they understand, it's got to be two ways, though. Either learn how to be flexible, because those motherfuckers are dangerous, too. Jesus. What was it, Japanese steel? The katanas were kind of flexible, which is why they wouldn't break. So it was like, fuck, you didn't fuck with a katana because it would fuck you up.
Yeah.
Because it never would break on you.
Yeah.
No matter what. That's dope.
Yeah.
Think about how fucking badass those are.
Yeah.
So it's like, if you're flexible, don't break. But it's not necessarily bad, to break and to not be
but
this
but
fucking solid person all the time. Because sometimes, you need to get rebuilt and be
yeah,
stronger.
yeah, and not only that, but sometimes the very process. Let's finish this up in a minute or two because I got a guy coming on in a half hour.
True.
But sometimes it's not even just coming back together and being built, but sometimes the actual process of breaking that sort of traumatic, dramatic, that can be incredibly beneficial too. To just be demolished, to freak out, to fuck up a relationship, to have everything swept out from under you, because you either, I mean, it's so cliche, but it's like it literally it either kills you or you survive it, and you now come back with knowledge of that other people don't have. You've survived that thing. It's like you see like guys coming back from like World War II, and they go on and build these massive corporations, and it's like, well, yeah, man, when you're fucking storming D-Day and getting slaughtered on the beaches in the Pacific, coming back and starting a company probably seems kind of easy. It's there's probably, and that's obviously an oversimplification, but yeah, man, I think the process of being broken. In 2014, I lost my older brother to suicide, and
Oh,
I would say that shit. Now it's been 6 years, almost 6 years. The rebuilding process has definitely been incredibly beneficial and beautiful. But I would say that at that initial shattering of everything I understood, that was because as bad as it was, I survived. I'm here talking to you right now. It's it's and sometimes shit like that you can't openly say, okay, let's break myself, because sometimes the breaking is so painful that it's like you're not going to choose this, so it's just going to happen to you. Like, like getting pushed into a cold pool. Like, you're not going to jump in, so I'm going to kick you in.
that's I think why like people like David Goggins do things
Yeah,
that stuff every day,
yeah,
because you've got to like have that perseverance to just kind of like deal with it. And I know that sounds super crass and like callous to say just deal with it,
just
because what you might be dealing with is something super emotionally
yeah,
charged, which we all know emotions are like, oh my God.
yeah.
But yeah, bro, I definitely know. Oof. I honestly like can't imagine like losing though a sibling to suicide. Like with somebody, like I'll be real, like I definitely have, those I've dealt with that demon
Oh, so have I.
for
So have I.
a,
My
a
whole
good
life. My whole life. Yeah, man.
a little while. Yeah. And
It's
that one is like I think confusing for people who don't deal with it, because it's like they don't understand that like you're not trying to like hurt anybody.
mm-hmm.
And I think it's selfish to think that.
Yeah.
You're really just trying to stop being a burden because you think you're
Mm-hmm.
a burden to them. It's two things. It's
Exact.
you're
No,
trying to stop
it's
being a burden to them, and you're trying to like really stop your pain.
you're trying. Yeah,
And
but
it may not be physical, but people don't understand that mental pain is literally
dude,
far more
it
painful
fucking
than
rips you to pieces from. It's a black
dude.
hole. It's a
It's because
black
people don't
hole.
understand that your soul is here.
Yeah.
Your soul is in the mind.
It.
So it's like, and if it's like your attack, it's like your soul is under attack.
Yeah.
That
There's
hurts
nowhere to.
more than
There's
anything.
nowhere to
Like,
go. It's.
oh, and I mean, like, if people don't okay, here's what I want people to like, or I wish people would really comprehend, or a good analogy, and maybe that they've never reached this level. But if you ever reach a level, have you? Maybe you have. I know I have. But have you ever reached a level of anger where it starts to physically hurt?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And
It's.
that's my proof right there.
Yeah.
That eventually, emotions, when they get charged enough, it can manifest as literally physical pain, and
Yeah.
it shows up literally in the chakras that are under attack.
Yeah.
Because it's always lower back pain for me.
Yeah. But it's also literal chemicals like releasing cortisol and norepinephrine. Like you literally. But I wanted to bring it back. You brought up a good point that that it's before I lost my brother, I always thought suicide's the most selfish thing. Don't you know who you're hurting? Afterwards, I
Yeah.
look at it. Ari Shafir said it on Joe Rogan last year because Ari Shafir battled with that, and he said, I think it's the bravest thing because you're you're going across the threshold to what? No one fucking knows. And
Yeah.
it's the first thing is you're trying to end your own pain, but the other thing is even though other people may not see you as a burden, like as someone that's been in that mindset myself, and thankfully have a loving family that brought me back from that, you truly feel just like I feel 1 plus 1 is 2, and just like I feel the sun's gonna rise tomorrow. You truly feel that you are a 500-ton burden on everyone, and that
Yeah.
if you die, it'll hurt for a little bit, but it's going to be better off. It's going to pull the scab off. It's going to pull the band-aid off quickly, and that's so. It's also it's an act of compassion. You're like, I don't want to drag everyone down.
Self-sacrifice.
It is. It is. It's
I understand that, and it's like if people understood that, I feel like it'd be different than this like, oh my god, don't do it, like
yeah. It's
which feels fake, and it
yeah.
feels like you're not really trying to learn why this person feels that way. You just immediately feel like there's something wrong with them the second they say that.
Yeah.
When it's like, okay, you obviously know that there is something that is disturbing them, but find out what that is.
Mm-hmm.
Don't make them feel bad, like the fact they're being disturbed by something.
Yeah. It's yeah.
Like, it's like, the ancient Greeks talked about how emotions are like spirits.
Yeah.
And I really do believe that.
Yeah.
I really do. I do believe that emotions visit us and we experience them in that moment. Because, like, think about it. There's times that you don't get angry, but the same thing happens.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
Think about it.
days where life
visited by that spirit because it had nothing to teach you. You probably already learned what it,
learned the lesson.
and that's the whole thing. So it's like you learned what, like, for instance, okay, I fucking had my grinder full of herb yesterday, and not like full of herb, but I had some residual herb, and I went like this, and I had it like here,
knocked it out of like Keith,
and I went to like it hiccuped, and I went like this, and it fell. Oh fuck! It fell, and I was like, and I just looked at it, and I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
And then like when I cleaned it up, because I did the whole sock method, because I was still trying to smoke it.
Yeah.
But it was just too dirty. There was like hair in it. It was not going to work. So there was some like dog hairs I didn't see in my room that I didn't vacuum up. So it was like in there. And I was like, oh, gross. So I just threw it away, and I didn't even really give a shit.
It was just.
Whereas,
some days it's like, fuck.
No, not even. I would say like a couple of years ago, I'd be really more pissed about that.
Yeah.
But I feel like also when you're vibing on lack, that is when you do that.
Yes. When you
realize that I can get more.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's funny because that moment of you doing that creates an opportunity for you to do so, usually.
Yes. It's
like no matter where you're at, like financially. And I've been on both ends of the spectrum, like ballin' and broke.
Yeah.
But I've always noticed that what I need, depending on how I emotionally respond to it, shows up.
Yeah.
Or doesn't show up.
I think you nailed it on the head. It's not necessarily good or bad, but there is a chance to grow. No matter how horrible it is.
Yeah.
No matter how horrible it is, you can grow. It's worse if you don't grow from it, because then a horrible thing happened just for the sake of being horrible. It went to waste.
No, more like it failed to wake you up because you're too fucking ignorant.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, it's...
You even just said, yeah, so there we go. Like, yeah. I was like, thanks, bud.
Preach. All right, man. Let's, dude, I definitely...
And then he just laughed and you said preach, so that was pretty funny.
Let's, hey, man, I really do appreciate you coming on here, dude. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I fucking enjoyed this conversation. This was fun as fuck.
Any more questions before we go?
Well, no, I got I think it was
Any more
conversation.
tough questions before we dip out of here?
I think, yeah, question. Can we do another one sometime?
Yes, indeed.
There's my question, man. I would love for you to come
I'll
on
tell
again.
more I'll tell more of my actual story
Yeah, no, please
instead.
do. No, let's yeah, and we'll get we'll make sure the video's working from the get go because the first like 10 minutes or so that was that's not your
Yeah,
fault. It's just the shit happens sometimes, and you
shit
just
happens. But
yeah,
I just got Skype, so it just works
yeah,
better.
no,
Let's do this.
it's well
Well, I know
the
how it works now.
yeah, it's because once the conversation flows, that's when you start to get the juice. When it flows for a long time, it sort of cooks for a long time.
So it's squeezing it, yeah.
Yeah, it's yeah. There's a lesson in
Dude,
everything, man. There's a lesson in that. So, hey man,
indeed.
I'll you send me any like links or anything you want, I'll put your shit in the description. This is who you are. And fuck yeah, man. Thanks for coming on. Let's do another one. All right, buddy.
Spread those wings.
Yeah.
Stay
Peace,
lifted and
buddy.
funky.
Yeah, stay funky. Peace.